This is ABC 15 News Taking Action.
Again and again, how a man who robbed the same convenience store 8 times finally got caught.
Flying past traffic, a mother and daughter injured. What the company Bird has to say about those injuries from one of its dockless scooters.
And a phone scam hero, one person more vigilant when it comes to fake APS callers. We have that and a whole lot more coming your way. Good morning, everybody. There we are. Dan Spindle, Danielle Lerner, clear as day as the sun is not up yet. We're glad to wake you up on this Thursday morning.
I was going to say, that's you just kind of wiping the sleep out of your eyes, saying, all right,
no technical issues here.
Dan and Danielle, all right. We've also got meteorologist Iris Hermosillo here in studio with us, tracking that most accurate forecast. Good morning, Iris.
Hey, good morning, guys. Yeah, you know what? Not a bad start to the day. No sun just yet, but check out the moon. It is bright. It is a full moon, the strawberry moon this morning. And if you look closely, you can't see it from this perspective, but you can actually see Saturn just southeast of the moon. Of course, if you have a telescope, then you might be able to see the rings, but that's the shot right now over the valley. Looking pretty good here with our Phoenix Children's Hospital Valley cam. Our temperature this morning, pretty warm if you want to get outside to go check that out. We're down to only 89 in Phoenix. We will be warming up back close to 110, but we should stay just shy of it today, 108 for a high. And temperatures keep trending down. I'll show you that trend in just a bit.
To the ABC 15 live desk this morning, 3 men have been hurt after being shot in a car by another driver. This near 17th Avenue and Pima Street. Now, officers on scene tell us that the 3 men are in serious but stable condition. While the victims are not cooperating, they did tell police there was no previous argument to trigger that shooting. The description of the other vehicle is a white pickup truck. If you know anything that can help in that case, if you saw anything, please contact police.
Hitting the roads with an even harsher penalty. Right now, one West Valley city is looking to ban texting and driving, citing drivers with a $250 fine if they're caught. ABC 15's Megan Thompson is in Surprise this morning with his Operation Safe Roads report on what pushed the police chief to make this a primary offense.
We don't have to have other bad driving behaviors. If the officers see this going on, they can use that as the reason to stop that driver and have a conversation.
A conversation, but not necessarily that $250 citation. Surprise Police Chief Terry Young says he understands that if this ordinance passes, what's expected of a driver may be confusing.
When it's not a state law and each city's got its own kind of set of rules, it might be appropriate to just have that conversation.
Arizona, one of only 2 states that don't have a law for all drivers on the books. This week, though, a small acceleration forward, as a state law will make it a secondary offense for those with a learner's permit to text and drive. But the chief wanting it to go further after seeing a 25% spike in crashes in Surprise over the last 5 years.
Now, I can't completely attribute all of that to the use of mobile devices. And in fact, it's difficult to do that.
He hopes his officers can catch it before a crash happens. As for when this might be approved, the City Council will meet in August to discuss whether or not Surprise will ban texting and driving. For Operation Safe Roads in Surprise, I'm Megan Thompson.
Fighting road rage in Arizona is something that we are taking a closer look at as part of Operation Safe Roads. Did you know there is actually a fleet of about a dozen Mustangs and Chargers and Challengers, these muscle cars on Arizona highways, and the drivers are not interested in drag racing?
Typically, it's other Mustangs, Corvettes, other Chargers, foreign vehicles like BMWs and Mercedes. They get up to this vehicle and they feel like passing it makes a statement.
You know, I saw one of those guys on the 60 yesterday. Imagine their surprise when they realize it's actually a state trooper in that silver Dodge Charger. His job is to hit the highway every day to look for aggressive drivers. Trooper Seeger telling us on a typical day he stops 10 to 15 people that are usually speeding or tailgating or erratically switching lanes. The goal is to observe people as they would normally drive because they don't know that there is a trooper watching them. If you have an idea about how to make the streets safer, email us or call us toll free on that hotline right there. All the information you need is right there on your screen for Operation Safe Roads.
Well, not once, twice, not even 3 times. Police just arresting a man accused of robbing the same store 8 different times. And wait for it, there's more. It doesn't end there. Police say Brian Spies did 16 years in prison for armed robberies, apparently didn't learn his lesson, which will likely work against him when he goes to court. He's accused of repeatedly holding up the Dollar General near 7th Avenue and Southern over a year-long span with a large hunting knife, allegedly one of his old tactics. So how did he get caught? Well, a witness spotted his car during one of those robberies, and police used that description to eventually track him down.
New information this morning on a Valley girl and her mother seriously injured while riding on one of those dockless electric scooters in San Diego. They were on the same scooter at the time, riding together, and they were not wearing helmets. Now, the company Bird sent us a statement saying, quote, safety is a top priority, and Bird urges all riders to wear a helmet. And that's why we have distributed more than 30,000 free helmets. In fact, the company offers to mail out that helmet to you. This conversation will become even more important as the Phoenix City Council is considering allowing those dockless scooters, those electric ones, right here within city limits. Just last month, Scottsdale threatened to ban them, but reconsidered as the company follows local laws and educates riders to do the same thing. Follow the law.
Snowbowl in Flagstaff is raising the red flag over the decision to close part of the Coconino National Forest for the fear of wildfires. The ski resort has had to halt most of its summer operations, including the popular scenic chairlift and other activities. They also say they've had to lay off or furlough 70 summer employees. Snowbowl now asking the Forest Service to let them operate during this closure. Across the nation we go. The retirement of Supreme Court Justice Anthony Kennedy giving the president and Senate Republicans a chance to create a solidly conservative court. Speaking at a campaign event in North Dakota last night, the president pressed the appointment could have a decades-long effect on the American legal system.
We have to pick a great one. We have to pick one that's going to be there for 40 years, 45 years. We need intellect. We need so many things to go. You know, there's so many elements go into the making of a great justice of the Supreme Court. You got to hit every one of them.
Senate Democrats argue that a confirmation vote should be put on hold until after the midterm elections.
Today, the U.S. Defense Secretary reassured South Korea that the U.S. will maintain current troop levels in that country while the countries map out a path to the peninsula's full denuclearization. New satellite images from North Korea reveal Kim Jong-un could still be tweaking and making improvements to his nuclear facilities. Analysts say this puts more pressure on President Trump and administration officials to clarify their agreements with the North Korean dictator.
Right place, right time. A Valley store clerk helping stop scammers from ripping off an elderly woman in the West Valley. Joyce McKinney got a call from a person who claimed to work for APS. She was told her power would be turned off in a half an hour if she didn't buy a prepaid money pack card for $305 and then called back with a voucher number. McKinney believed the caller, raced over to a nearby CVS, and that is where Glenn Jones stepped in and stopped her from going through with that purchase. He says this isn't the first time either.
Oh, there's been a couple of times that we've saved people at least $2,000 one time, you know, and $500 another time.
Way to go, Glenn. Hey, APS officials say they will never make a last-minute phone call and ask people to purchase prepaid cards ever. And if you're unsure if a notice is legitimate, call the number on your bill to verify.
4:38, and Google is now testing a first-of-its-kind robot that can actually make appointments for you. The company is testing duplex with a few businesses right now. If you hear it, the robot sounds just like a person. It even says and to make the conversation seem more real. Duplex won't answer questions that don't relate to its task, but some people worry this is Google's way of just collecting more information.
Just a little creepy, I admit that. But hey, innovation, right? It is 4:38. I've got some good news. If you've got respiratory conditions, today, hopefully a better day for you when it comes to our air quality. Ozone concentration should manage to stay in the moderate range today because we're going to pick up some more breezes. And so that should help improve that air quality. Wind speeds are increasing across the state. And with that, the wildfire risk is going up. But temperatures, they're going to start trending down today. Today's still close to yesterday's high temperature, but we likely won't hit 110. We did hit 110 the last couple of days as expected, but today 108, hot and breezy, wind gusts as high as 25 miles an hour here in the valley. We'll break down that hour by hour forecast. I'll show you when to expect the strongest winds, and we'll talk about the fire alerts that are in effect across our state.
Thanks, Iris. 20 minutes to the top of the hour now. Thousands unaccounted for when it comes to opioid deaths. The reason they may have slipped through the cracks.
A new image for Self magazine. Meet the model who is breaking barriers.
And it was a classic treat that had people wanting a comeback. I was mesmerized by the cheese balls. We'll tell you how you can get your hands on the Planters' favorites.
ABC 15 and your most accurate forecast right now.
Good morning, I'm meteorologist Iris Hermosillo. The fire danger is going up across northern Arizona as winds get stronger across the state. Up north, red flag warnings in effect from 11 o'clock to 8 o'clock here this evening. Wind speeds gusting as high as 40 miles an hour up there. Here in the valley, some breezes through the day, and our temperature is still hot, although we likely won't hit 110 today. Phoenix looking to top out at 108 degrees. We'll hit those 90s though in Sedona, Prescott, and Payson this afternoon. Temperatures will keep trending down the next few days. Today 108, tomorrow down to 105, still breezy, and through the weekend our temperatures right around the average for this time of year. Saturday 104, possibly some storms in southeast Arizona, but the valley forecast still looking dry and back near 110 by the middle of next week. We'll have another update for you this afternoon. Until then, get the latest news, weather, and traffic at abc15.com or by downloading the free ABC 15 app.
This ABC 15 News Update is sponsored by Sanderson Ford, America's best-selling Ford dealership.
Get news, weather, and traffic 24/7
on the ABC 15 app
for any device.
ABC 15 Desert Drive Time, sponsored by Accident Law Group.
4:43, taking our first look at the maps. If you do have to head out the door nice and early this morning, things looking really good, all green. We'll keep an eye on it though as the morning goes on. We do want to talk about a rollover though. This is 35th Avenue and Orangewood. Our crew live there on scene right now. We're told that one man was taken out of that white pickup truck. He had to go to the hospital. We are still trying to get an update on his condition, so we'll keep asking those questions. We'll bring you an update as soon as it comes in. Now to your health news this morning. Opioids may have killed 70,000 more people than we know. Researchers from the University of Pittsburgh saying states have been underestimating opioid-linked deaths since 1999. The study says underreporting opioid-related deaths can mean less funding and resources. They also say it means we are underestimating how bad this crisis is. Well, summertime sadness got you down? Then you might want to try one of these foods that researchers say are mood boosters. Take a look. Nutritionists say 5 foods could really help. Things like salmon. Research says eating fish with omega-3 fatty acids could ease depression. As a treat, why not try some dark chocolate? That could also help with your immune system. And berries, spinach, and also almonds. Those are good for your diet as well.
I eat almonds each and every day, which is why I'm so chipper. here at work, Danielle. Yeah, workers wanted. Kohl's wants to make that summer job last through the year. They're already accepting applications at more than 300 of their stores for back to school, fall, holiday shopping. Yes, they're hiring for the holidays already. This is the earliest the retailer has ever started hiring for those seasons, and they're hoping to make a big mark on that tight job market. Right now, no stores in the Valley are doing it, but a spokesperson tells us that could soon change.
Also hiring in the Valley, Shamrock Foods is looking for CDL drivers, and they'll be having a hiring event today and tomorrow from 8 o'clock in the morning to 5 o'clock at night. This will be at the Shamrock Foods Phoenix office on West and Canto Boulevard. The average salary for these positions starts at more than $66,000. If you need a job that pays well but provides the least amount of stress, then one of these could be for you. Data from website Glassdoor determined these are the jobs that offer the most pay without bringing so much stress into your life. Number one, that went to optometrists, who say they were stressed at most 70% of the time, with an average salary of $110,000 a year. They were followed by marine architects, orthodontists, a treasurer, and an astronomer, rounding out the top 5. Trending right now, Wimbledon is announcing that Serena Williams will get a 25th seed, a victory, after she wasn't even seeded at the French Open coming off maternity leave. And a lot of people argued that's not fair. Here's ABC's Molly Hunter with that story.
7-time Wimbledon champion Serena Williams will be back in London this summer. Serena grabbing spot number 25, knocking the world number 32, Slovakian Dominika Cibulková, out of the mix. Dominika telling UK press it's unfair. Only 32 players make the cut, and Serena, while winning 23 Grand Slam titles in her career, has only played 3 tournaments in the last 12 months and is ranked 183rd in the world. The reason? She gave birth to little Alexis Olympia, gracing the cover of Vogue in February, pictures by Mario Testino. So despite her track record, given her ranking, Serena wasn't guaranteed a spot this year. But the All England Club, which runs Wimbledon, tweaked the seedings to include her, which is allowed. But there are no universal rules for players who return from maternity leave.
It should be under review to change these rules. Maybe not in time for me, but for the next person that maybe she's 25 and she wants to have a baby, but she doesn't want her career to be over.
And yesterday, posting these photos of her first Wimbledon win 16 years ago. Also sharing a look back at her wins alongside men's champ Roger Federer, who nabbed the top seed above Rafael Nadal, despite being ranked lower in the world this year.
And by the looks of it, she's ready to get back on center court. No word yet on any rule changes related to maternity leave, but we're excited to cheer on this fierce new mom when Wimbledon kicks off next week. Molly Hunter, ABC News, London.
4:47, and Self magazine is taking a new shape after going digital, and it's bringing some controversy with it. The magazine released its first plus-size model, Tess Holliday, on the cover of its latest issue. In the recent article, the 32-year-old reveals that she is proud of her curves, but has actually started eating healthier to help manage her postpartum depression. Holliday also talked about her new book, The Not So Subtle Art of Being a Fat Girl, Loving the Skin You're In. That's the title.
Do you remember these snacks as a kid? Planters cheese balls, making a comeback for a limited time. It just screams 1980s, doesn't it? The company says they've been getting messages and petitions for cheese balls from fans for decades. Kraft Heinz says that the snacks still taste the same and they have the same texture and fluorescent orange color that people love, and will be in the same canister. You can get yours starting on Sunday.
Don't judge me, but I don't think I've ever had one of those.
What?
I know. So maybe I need to get my hands on some of them now that they're back. Hey, it is 4:48. We are waking up to mostly clear skies. I showed you the full moon a little bit ago. Now I wanted to show you some of those thin clouds spread across our skies. Overall, though, fairly clear conditions as we kick off the day here on this Thursday. Temperatures, though, they're warm. We're actually only down to 89 degrees, so it's been a slow cool down overnight, partly because of some of those thin clouds, also because we've actually gotten a little bit more moisture across southern Arizona. The dew points, check that out. They've jumped. They're now in the mid-40s. That puts our relative humidity when looking at the temperature and the dew point temperature at 22%. You're probably not going to feel too much of it. The dew point in the 40s, still in the comfortable range, but it's something that's keeping our temperatures a little elevated this morning. In fact, as you look across the valley, we're not seeing as many 70s, but rather more 80s than the last few days. Peoria, you're starting out at 82. It's 82 in Goodyear. Good morning to you in Deer Valley and in Anthem. You're both coming in at 80, and we are down into the 70s, at least in Queen Creek, Gilbert, Mesa coming in at 79 degrees. Now here over the next few hours, you can expect that it is going to stay fairly warm in Phoenix. We likely will only dip down into the mid 80s today before we start to warm again. And today, another quick warm up, but it won't be as hot as it's been the last couple of days. We hit my forecast high of 110 the last 2 days. Today, we won't quite make it to 110, but we are heading up to 108 today. So still hot, still important to take precaution. Know that today the sensitive at most risk as our valley heat risk jumps into the moderate range. But if you're not hydrating or you're out doing strenuous activities during the peak heat of the day, then that really impacts all of us. Of course, certainly you could be impacted if you're not taking the appropriate heat safety precautions. High pressure has been in control. That's what's brought us those fairly clear conditions. Quiet weather for the most part across our region. We are seeing a little bit of activity down in Mexico, a boost in moisture across southern Arizona, but it's not translating to much in terms of cloud cover. Over the next couple of days, some changes. High pressure shifts east, the Midwest getting sizzling hot with high humidity values there too. But we've got a disturbance that we're tracking to our north, and that is going to increase wind speeds and also help drop our temperatures. Something else I'll be watching the next couple of days. We'll get enough moisture across southeastern Arizona to possibly get a few storms down there. So that will be the case possibly tomorrow afternoon and Saturday afternoon. Today, though, expect more breezes across the valley and especially in northern Arizona, where gusts will be as high as 40 miles an hour. The fire danger goes up and red flag warnings will be in effect across that northern pocket of our state. That 7-day forecast shows you that temperatures will trend down from here. 108 today, down to 104 on Saturday, guys. Not bad.
Well, as more people get ready to travel this summer, maybe try to get away from that heat for a little bit, it can be tough to find the best deals.
Yeah, but we are taking action for you to find some of those tricks to get better flights, better hotels. New York Times offering these 5 tips for travelers, starting with earning travel points through credit cards. You know you can do that, also known as credit card churning. You got to remember to pay it off, though, because it can be bad if it just adds up.
As for those flights, you want to fly on a Tuesday, a Wednesday, or a Thursday. Track your flight, get price drop alerts, and make sure you mix and match airlines and airports. That can help as well.
And lastly, call hotels directly for the best prices. Since online travel agents have to fight to bid on bookings, go straight to the source. It could be saving you a lot more money.
Getting the most out of the amusement park experience. We've got 10 tips to try and avoid those kid meltdowns this summer.
And if you're from California and thought that you ran away from Silicon Valley, think again how the governor plans to add more of those kinds of jobs right here in the desert.
In today's Tech Bites, Apple and Samsung bury the hatchet after 7 years.
The two companies have settled their long-running patent dispute. The battle centered on how much Samsung should pay Apple for copying patented features in its smartphones. Terms of the settlement were not disclosed. AT&T, meanwhile, has quietly raised an administrative fee for all of its nearly 65 million wireless customers.
The fee more than doubled to $1.99, and that adds up an extra $800 million a year. AT&T told the website Verge it's a standard fee that covers cell site maintenance and other costs. Facebook wants to give you more control over what you see on your news feed.
The social media site is testing a new feature called Keyword Snooze. It allows users to hide certain words for 30 days, helpful for TV and movie spoilers, as well as news stories you're tired of.
Politics.
Those are your Tech Bites.
Tech Bites, sponsored by Eliquis.
I've always looked forward to what's next, and I'm still going for my best, even though I live with a higher risk of stroke due to AFib, not caused by a heart valve problem. So if there's a better treatment than warfarin, I'm up for that. Eliquis. Eliquis is proven to reduce stroke risk better than warfarin, plus has significantly less major bleeding than warfarin. Eliquis is FDA approved and has both. So what's next? Seeing these guys.
Don't stop taking Eliquis unless your doctor tells you to, as stopping increases your risk of having a stroke. Eliquis can cause serious and, in rare cases, fatal bleeding. Don't take Eliquis if you have an artificial heart valve or abnormal bleeding. While taking Eliquis, you may bruise more easily, and it may take longer than usual for any bleeding to stop. Seek immediate medical care for sudden signs of bleeding, like unusual bruising. Eliquis may increase your bleeding risk if you take certain medicines. Tell your doctor about all planned medical or dental procedures.
Eliquis, the #1 cardiologist prescribed blood thinner. Ask your doctor if Eliquis is what's next for you.
It's the one I get. Jeez, Brent. We've got better than that here.
Okay, from packing your bags to standing in long lines, traveling can be the worst part of taking a trip when all you want to do is get to your destination. Well, Boeing may have a solution for you. It wants to make flights shorter with a new plane that travels 5 times the speed of sound. That would make them a lot shorter. That equals about 4,000 miles an hour. That's more than twice as fast as the Concorde flew back in the day. The concept jet will likely stay that way for at least a few decades. All right, so we're going to have to wait a little longer.
Well, our grandchildren will have something to look forward to.
Still exciting, though.
If you are headed out with the kids to Disneyland or Legoland, of course, we always talk about the ones to our west in Southern California, it can be tough to keep the kids at bay.
That's why we haven't taken Addison just yet to Disneyland. We are taking action, though. We're giving you 9 tips to try and prevent those mini meltdowns.
You've stood there in line. You can see those kids go crazy. Not my children, of course, not the Spindles.
Never, no.
Right.
Okay, when you're at the parks, just remember, you can't do it all. Go at a relaxed pace. Use strollers to help with the walking. I could see that being a bonus. Keep them occupied in line, so try to play a game of I Spy or bust out those smart devices if you really need to.
Heads up. That's a great thing. Heads up on your phone.
That's a good idea.
You can play that in line. Everybody does that at Disneyland. Hey, avoid the scary rides if your kids can't handle it. Take note of height requirements and take time to take a breather, cool off. Don't forget to account for those character appearance photo ops that can be a little diversion. Bring snacks. Make sure everybody's wearing comfortable shoes.
Yes,
that's the key.
I made the mistake of wearing uncomfortable shoes once. It was horrible for me.
I wore Converse one time.
I almost had a meltdown.
Awful.
Yeah. Hey, that leads to our question of the morning. What are your favorite amusement parks? We are talking about this right now on Dan's Facebook page. Hello to everyone on the Facebook Live right now.
Aaron says Disneyland. Let's see. Josh says castles and coasters here in the Valley. Why not? And Steph says Silverwood theme park.
All right. Let us know what you think.
We're chatting on Facebook right now.
You can still check out the full moon. Temperatures are going to be warm when you step outside, though. We'll talk about how hot it's getting later.